Hello and welcome to my channel, What's Good on TV. My name is Nicole and I want to thank you for being here to hear my review of Life After Lockup, Ring and Run, Season 5, Episode 44. Or something in there. It's a high number. This episode it was okay. It was okay. I'm not going to hold you long because, we didn't even see all the couples. So there's really not even that much to really cover. When we open up, though, we are with Bianca and Daniel. And she's still talking about the coffee and whatnot. His parents have come back into town to see him and they want to spend some time just with Daniel. So they take him out shopping for some clothes and they actually take him to Plato's Closet. And I know all about Plato's Closet. I love Plato's Closet. It is a consignment shop. I have 3 kids. No shame. We will go there. I get all my workout clothes from there. So I was like, oh, yeah. I know them. So he is down there shopping with his parents. And Bianca, she goes out to, which I thought was odd. She is left alone with the cousin. So they decide to go get some lunch, but they end up at a bar. Okay, just hold on to that. While they're out shopping for clothes at the Plato's Closet, one thing I thought was odd was they came across a pair of tennis shoes, and he's like, they sell these for $90 in the prison, and they're only 30. You're in a consignment shop. They're going to be lower. Maybe he didn't understand that they were actually shopping in a consignment shop, but he's like, yeah, like they're being ripped off. They probably are being ripped off, but not by that much. So he's in there, he's talking with his mama, and he says, hey, what do you think about Miss Bianca? And, mama, she's trying to hold her tongue. I can tell she don't like her. But, she's kind of, yeah, what do you think? He goes on to overshare, in my opinion, with his mom that they had sex and they were intimate and she doesn't believe in birth control and now she's not taking it. And the mom is just like kind of on a low key level done because she was like, well, why would you do that? Now it is really in her ballpark. You know better. And they kind of go on talking. We'll come back to them in a second. Oh, one other thing. He decides that he wants to let them know that he's going to marry Bianca and he needs to get her a ring. Why do they look for her ring in the consignment shop? They go over to the ring counter and the plate, which I don't even remember them selling that kind of jewelry in Plato's, maybe in the one there. But they go over and they're picking out rings. They buy her a ring for her to wear so that she could, have something to look at and know that she's engaged to him. And all my lady friends out there, if the man that proposes to you buys you a ring at a consignment shop that his mama had to give him the money for, no, no, absolutely not. Take that as a sign from the good Lord. No, his mama had to buy you a ring at a consignment shop so y'all could be married. No, no judgments, but I'm just saying, bear in mind, bear in mind. We next see Michael and Justine, and they kind of pick up. It overlapped a little bit from the last time when they had the fight. So, Michael is talking about the fight between the boys and how the one boy, who apparently they're saying has struggled with language, has a lot of words. He has a lot of words to say for somebody who struggles with language. But he has broken his phone by throwing it down. They show the phone. He didn't just throw that down. He threw it down, stomped on it good. It's cracked all the pieces. Michael gets frustrated, punches the wall, storms out, and he kind of shares in confessional that his frustration is kind of with everything. It's with not liking the work that he does. It's with his wife being sick. It's with having to put his strings on the back pause. I'm like, hon, that's a rap song in itself. That's everybody's dream. Put that to music because a lot of people know about those kind of frustrations. Not living the life you want, being concerned and scared. So we also see he comes back home and he and Justine kind of talk it out a little bit. She tells him that he needs to work on his anger. It causes her to feel concerned that he may not be able to parent without her. So hold on to that thought. Then we come to Joey and Kim. And, they're kind of showing us this home scene where Joey's reading to one of the boys, and then we see the boys playing, and Kim is in the kitchen, and she's making, this really hearty breakfast for everybody. And he's after her to get the paternity test. He wants to know the results, and she's kind of putting it off. And we kind of see them talking a little bit more about wanting a house. And they've been looking at houses, and they kind of show us like some, flashbacks of them looking at houses, and he's not liking anything. It's looking like they have a very tight budget for a house. And she ends up telling him, I need for you to get a job. And I mean, he kind of considers it like, get a job. Like, it's almost optional. Like, I'm going to think on that. A job, you say? Maybe a job. I'm going to give that some thought. And he kind of not whines, but he is saying he was trained to do HVAC. And, but he don't know if he want to do it because, yeah, they do have to crawl in attics and, be out in the heat and deal with stuff I'm scared of. And he's like, he don't know if he wants that. And I'm like, it's so nice to have options, isn't it? Like, I don't really want to do this work, so I'll do no work. But if she's going to tolerate it, okay, then. We come to Melissa and Joey. Joey is out with his boys shopping for a engagement ring. He has saved up money from 3 different jobs so he can buy this girl this ring. And so he is out with his buddies, and they are looking at rings. And he is told by the guy who is, the jeweler, that the ring he wants to get, which is 2 carats, because that's what Melissa wants. Melissa said, don't bring nothing in this house unless it's at least 2 carats. And so it turns out the jeweler is saying that's a good $20,000. That's a lot of money for a ring if your income doesn't support that. Like, your money doesn't stretch that way. That's a lot of money for a ring. And I don't even know if it's reasonable for you to ask. Like, if your boyfriend works at the pizzeria, you shouldn't you shouldn't want a $20,000 ring, because that's not within his wheelhouse. That's not in his budget. If your man has to work 3 jobs, maybe he can't afford that kind of ring. Maybe you should get that man who can. So, but she says she wants, and I trust and believe, I am all for, you have a right to want what you want and get what you want to get. But this man doesn't really have it. So, but he has saved up, I think he said, I want to say maybe $10,000, $15,000. He has saved up all of this money from working 3 jobs, and he's going to put it all on a ring for her. Now, that is somebody who loves you. He is going to put all the money he has saved up to get her a ring. But when he was first told about the rings, he did begin to wonder, like, he had to take a little breather. He goes out with the friends, and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I need to think about it a little bit more. So we come to Brittany and Kerok, and they are back in the motel. 30 days has passed. And, the last time we saw them in the previous episode, they had messed up their transfer, hadn't gotten permission to leave, waited until the 9th hour to tell his mother, who had packed up by herself the whole house so they can move. And he tells her as they're getting ready to pull out the driveway, Mama, I can't go. I messed up. And she was furious, and she deserved to be furious. And I would have been mad if she hit him. I would not have been. But he waits until the 9th hour after she did all the work. She did all the packing. And they were just wandering around, talking to each other and stuff. I would have been furious. So they end up, the mother and her boyfriend, and the son, they have moved to Texas without Kerok and without Brittany. They had to wait another 30 days in order to see if they can get approval. Turns out Kerok has been approved. He's been taken off probation. Virginia said, you know what? Gone. We don't care. You off probation. If you want to go, go. However, they still got to wait for Brittany's approval. And Brittany is steady complaining to Key Rock about she ready to go, she don't want to stay there no more. And it was a little annoying because she's complaining to Key Rock like, okay, Key Rock, get the keys. I'm waiting on you. It's not anything that he can control. Key Rock even points out to her, well, we were in jail, so we were in prison, and so this is not the most ideal, but we can rough it. So Brittany is feeling like no. So they get ready to go and meet Brittany's probation officer to see if she is going to be given permission to go, because she has to pay back $10,000 in restitution or wait to the year 2030 or something like that. And it wasn't real clear to me like how much they've paid off, or if they're close to paying it off, or if they, I don't think they had totally paid it off, because she said she wasn't off until she paid it off. And so if she had already paid it off, she would be free to go. But they go and they end up getting denied. Well, Brittany ends up getting denied, and she comes out and you feel bad for her because she's crying, she's upset. She's explaining that there's a new stipulation, like the address she gave, they won't approve that address. So she has to stay with a relative. She does have a relative there, but it's not enough that the relative let her stay. The relative has to get her name added to the lease and something else. And so, I kind of understand why it sounds like a hoop to make them jump through. But if you go to another state and stay with somebody, you could say anybody, I'm staying with anybody. But if you not only have that person's approval, but your name is on the lease, then you know for a fact that they are actually staying at this location. Plus, that person can't just put them out because their name is on the lease. So yeah, it's another hoop, but it ensures that she actually is going to stay with someone, and she's going to be in a place that she cannot be put out. So yeah, it's a fiery hoop they're making her jump through, but I kind of think that's the rationale. Like, if we're going to send you, we want to know that you're actually in a place that you can't be put out, and you're not staying with people we don't approve of. But anyway, she's denied, and they're devastated. All right. Now we are with Zariah and Troy. And the first thing we see is Troy is just texting. I don't know who he's texting, maybe a friend, but she's always hovering and looking and who you texting. I mean, oh my God, today, girl, just get a mirror on his text, on his phone, so you can read all his texts too. You won't have to worry about it. Not encouraging that kind of behavior. That's inappropriate. But that's what some folk do. She tells him, I want you to go with me to the psychic, because I get upset when I go to the psychic. I had a whole meltdown the last time, and so I want you to come and be there with me for it. And I'm thinking, why would you go? Don't go, Troy, don't go. You're going to start off with, I need you to go because I have a meltdown. You've seen these meltdowns. Troy, don't go. But she wants him to go. Because, she wants him to be in the front row seat when she has this whole, meltdown. So they go to the psychic, and, we saw her before in another, episode, and she sure enough did meltdown. Zariah did meltdown when she had the psychic reading. But they go in and they meet with the psychic, and she don't look anything like what I think a psychic would look like. She's young and everything. So anyway, so they go in, and the psychic, she's doing the whole card things. And she explains to them that she is not a tarot card reader, but she's a medium. And the tarot cards just validate what she is hearing or feeling or something. And she says, do you have any questions? And both of them just said, nope. I thought it was Troy. I was like, excuse me, I got questions right here. I got a question. Where did these cards come from? What is the history of all this? So if you're a medium, that means you are hearing something. Are you hearing something like a spirit, an angel, a demon, a god? What are you hearing? No questions. They had no questions. We would still be sitting there because of my questions. But they both just said, nope. Now, maybe Zariah has already had all those kind of questions answered, but Troy doesn't have any questions. But Troy also said in confessional that he didn't really believe in this kind of stuff. But I can't remember if he said that before or after the reading. But anyway, she starts, doing the cards and she's doing the reading. And she is saying that she has a feeling that there's some female energy. Maybe it's an ex. And Zariah's face she is mean mugging. She is ready to go. She is upset. And I'm thinking, I know Troy is probably like, oh my God, you're going to get me killed. Stop. It's just like, I feel some kind of female energy. And then she said there was a card and she said this card represents chaos. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think you need a medium for that. We on this side can see, yes, they are a lot of chaos and they got a lot of trouble and there's a lot of negative feminine energy. And I really thought she was talking about Zariah when she said there's a negative feminine energy around you. I'm thinking he should have said, is it her? I think it's her, right? No. But anyway, Zariah gets upset. She had that meltdown she promised him. She had the meltdown she promised. And she gets upset. She says, I gotta take a break. I gotta take a break. She goes outside. She's pacing. He goes outside to comfort her. And she accuses him, or she puts the question to him, are you cheating on me for again? Oh my God. I'm frustrated with that. I don't know how he's not. And she's all worked up. The man hadn't even done anything. The woman didn't even say anything was going on. She basically said there's chaos and a negative feminine energy around you. And she's outside pacing like a panther and accusing him of cheating. And I just can't take this. I can't put up with this. I just want a normal relationship. Girl, none of this is normal. Just be normal if you want normal. And so, he has a way of calming her down. No, I'm not. You, my girl. He kisses her. Come on, let's go back in. I wouldn't have went back in there. I'd be like, come on, let's get in the car because I am not putting up with this. I'd have been like, let's get on in the car. I don't want to put up with this. So actually, when they go back in, she explains that she doesn't feel that Troy is cheating. That, she was just saying it was a negative energy and to be on the lookout and that they got rough roads ahead of them. Again, I ain't no kind of psychic medium or nothing. I can see that coming. So we are with Bianca and Daniel, and they clocked in a little bit. They can still go home. I don't, these two right here. So we're back to them. And when Bianca is left with the cousin, who I cannot think of his name, they're supposed to go to a restaurant, but they stop at the bar in the restaurant and they are sitting there having drinks. And I don't know how in the world a cousin let her talk him into that, because he was one of the main ones saying, don't drink around him, don't drink it, don't do it. But anyway, they're there at the bar and they are drinking, they drinking hard liquors. They drinking hard liquor and the sun is still out in the daytime. And they're drinking hard liquor when you got to drink it and be like, yeah, they're drinking hard liquor. And they're talking and, sharing way too much again. And she tells the cousin how she did not enjoy their intimacy the night before and that he doesn't do any foreplay and he just wants to stick and run. And I said, why would in the world would you tell his cousin? That is so shameful. That is so embarrassing to tell his cousin that. And the cousin has a confessional outside to himself. And I bust out laughing when he said, I didn't know how to help her because I want to do the same thing. I don't do anything different. I don't know what I would say that would be helpful to her. And so they're sitting there sipping and drinking too much, and the parents come in, and they are upset. They are upset that she is sitting there. Not only has she been drinking, and they showed the glasses. They both had two. It was like 4 glasses, and they took shots. So they both had 2 drinks and some shots, and the parents are upset. And Daniel is upset because you can tell she's intoxicated. And he is, you promised, which I don't remember ever hearing her promise not to drink. I don't remember her saying that she wouldn't drink, but he's like, you promised me you wouldn't drink. And now you're out here, you're drinking. And, he said he tried to give her a little test by saying, I feel triggered and now I want to drink. And like a toddler who stomps her foot and crosses her arms, she says, I don't care. Well, drink. Go ahead and drink. And he tells her, you failed the test. I wanted to see if you was going to be supportive, and you're not supportive of me being sober. And the father, he kind of gets in her face a little bit, upset about her drinking. Daniel goes out, and Bianca goes out, and she's trying to he's fussing at her some more about drinking. And the part I really thought was messed up was he's telling her how triggering it is for her to drink. And so she's like, give me a kiss. And he says, I don't want to taste alcohol on your lips. That's upsetting for me. And she doesn't care. She's like, no, give me a kiss. And I'm like, oh, she is a Delilah. She will get you to fall. She don't care nothing about your sobriety. She just kept saying how that's his problem. And she would say it with such a nasty attitude. That's his problem if he can't drink. That's his problem. That's on you. And that's when he should have said, Mama, Daddy, take me back to the house. I'm going to pack up my little stuff over there. And I'm not going to be here because this is not somebody who is for you. Then we have Kim and Joey. So Joey has decided he's going to have to be like the rest of us and go work somewhere. And we see him going for a job interview. Now, Joey goes on this job interview wearing a black t-shirt and a hat. He's just real casual with it. He goes in, meets with the man. And I'm like, this is like maybe one of the worst interviews ever. I always say, listen, I don't care what the job is. You want to dress like you want the job, and you want to be a little bit more formal, like pick me. Like, I'm trying to come off professional regardless of the job. So he sits down with the man, and he kind of just launches in like, well, I don't really know anything, and I don't have any experience, and I just kind of need a job because I got a wife and kids. And the man is kind of like nodding and kind of, I'm thinking, really? You gonna give him the job? You sound interested in giving him a job where he's almost telling you, I don't know anything. But the guy got the cameras in his face. So he goes on and he, explains what he would have to be doing, like in hot attics, crawling under houses. You'll start out making, I think, maybe $16 an hour, but you can earn your way up to a good salaries. That's something you're interested in. And Joey's like, yeah, but let me tell you. And he goes on and he tells the man all of his charges. And I think, Joey, are you trying to not? But anyway, I was, a lot of loving life after lockup. Not on the real, because I'm thinking, sir, he looked real surprised when Joey said he had charges. And I'm thinking, there's a box used to be on applications where you had to list whether or not you had a criminal background. And so he tells him straight up, he says, listen, I'm thinking maybe no, but we're gonna see what the people above me say. We're gonna see what HR has to say. So Joey thanks him, and we'll see. We're back with Louis and Melissa. Actually, we're with Louis. We see Louis. He actually goes ahead, buys the ring, spends $18,000 on a ring. That's not what she wanted exactly, but we'll see how this go. I don't have a good feeling. We then are back with Justine and Michael. Now we see little, I can't remember the baby's name, but she's in the back. That is the cutest baby ever. So we see Justine with the cutest baby ever. And she's on her way to go visit with her daughter. I think her name is Kaylee or Kylie. And Kylie it's almost like she's a different image of Justine. So she doesn't look exactly like her mom, but you kind of like you turn your head this way, she looked like her, and she is doing well. She's a freshman at the university. She says she's getting all A's. She's having a good time. She's in apparently a sorority, and so Justine has come to bust her bubble up. So Justine explains to her that she has a high-risk pregnancy, and that she's been told to get a will, and that she there's all these concern about her health. I'm thinking that's hard to hear, right? Because the girl has to be about 18, 19. And then she goes on to explain to Kaylee that in thinking about her will and who her children should be left to be reared by, that she thinks is best if Kaylee would agree to finish raising her two brothers, and also because she don't think her husband can handle their behaviors, and their father doesn't want to be involved. So she wants her daughter, who is like 18, 19 years old, to agree to finish raising her two brothers and you to share custody of her last two babies with Mike. And when that girl looked like she had been thrown a cement brick in the ocean, she looked like, oh my gosh. I was like, what kind of crap is that to do? Who you go and see your daughter and then tell her, I would like for you to take on the raising of all my children, as you're getting ready to start your good life. That, all right, now, Justine, please, no. And, you could tell she's overwhelmed. And she even says, why are you having babies if you know there was a risk? And Justine basically just says, oh, because we wanted them. Then I was like, because then I'm going to want you to figure out something else. And I'm thinking, where is Justine's mom? Because I remember seasons before Justine's mama was on there. And I like Justine. Justine mama, she was giving them the business. She was funny. She was giving them the business. So I'm like, why don't you reach out to your mama and ask her if she would be willing to finish raising these kids? Because apparently you don't trust this whole man that you having all these babies with. I don't know. At the same time, they are showing us Mike visiting. He's playing basketball with his daughter, and I think her name is Melody. And Melody is in the house. And, it just struck me that Melody is so mature. And they're talking about their concerns about the high-risk pregnancy. And Melody, she says the same thing. She says, this is irresponsible. She's worried about the other two siblings who didn't get to come because their mother was like, absolutely not. What? No. You can visit, but you can't go out there to stay. And so apparently Melody and also Kaylee are what we used to call parentified children. They're children who are used to being the parents to their siblings. This makes them ultra responsible and even more mature because they have to rise to the occasion. And so these parents are out here having these kids knowing we got these two older kids. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, we're a family, everybody has to help out. You may have to do chores, you may have to babysit, but parentified parents, children who are parentified, it's to another level. It's where they're responsible. They're rearing their children. They're not just babysitting. They're not just doing chores, but they're teaching, instructing, leading, being left with, being responsible for. And that's not fair. That is not fair. It's one thing to help. It's another thing to dump these children on them. And so when Mike is talking with Melody even has a moment where she gets really emotional, feeling guilty about her other two siblings. And so Justine might do better. Y'all, come on. Don't do this to these girls. Don't do this. We then go back to Bianca and Daniel, and they decide everybody is leaving. They're not even going to get food. They're so disgusted. They are leaving the restaurant together. And as they're leaving together, it is obvious that Miss Bianca had too much to drink. And they're walking to the car, and Bianca says to the mother, I feel okay to drive. This better be fake. I want this part to be real fake. And so the mom was like, absolutely not. You can't drive. And, it made me think back to the first time we met Bianca, and I think the first or second episode, and Bianca was talking about her accident and how, her friend was the one who was driving drunk, and she didn't know her friend was drunk. And I thought, that's odd. Like, if I'm sober, how do I not notice that somebody else is too impaired to drive, right? I always suspected she was drunk too. She was drunk too. And I feel like this episode confirms it, because apparently she can't walk past the bar without getting something to drink. She doesn't know when to kind of slow down because she said herself, I overdo it. Even with the cousin, he said, I don't even drink this much, but when I'm with her, I don't know. So I think when they had that accident, it wasn't just the friend who was driving who was drunk. She didn't know how drunk she was because she herself was drunk too, and she didn't want to own it. And I think it's becoming concerning, and it looks like Bianca might have her own drinking issue because she's too adamant about I can't not drink. So she's too adamant for it not to be an issue. Um, so we end up back with Troy and I can't even think how to say her name now, Zarella. I don't think that's right either. Troy and the girl with the Z name. They are going to her parents' house after, going to the psychic reading. The parents who are both ministers. So they go into the parents' house and they are having, dinner, and they're sitting down, and the father, Henry, he takes a moment to pull Troy to the side, and he's a really nice man, and you can tell he's really trying to pour into, Troy. And he's saying, listen, I believe in reaping what I'm sowing, so I'm trying to like be here for you. And Troy is kind of looking almost like, I don't know about all that, but they sit down to have dinner, and they kind of share about what they're going through, how they're having a hard time with the nonprofit. They are hoping to get at least 50 kids to get it going. And I was like, I'm not sure what this nonprofit is now, because I thought the nonprofit was to help people who have been imprisoned. But she was saying we need about 50 kids to get it going, and they're not. Why? And I'm thinking, well, ain't he the community engagement person? He need to go on out and engage the community and get the people to come in. Anyway, and then she shares with her parents, who she knows are good church people, that she's been visiting with a psychic, and that puts them over the edge. They did not care for that at all, and that the psychic was saying that they was going to have troubles and chaos and all kinds of stuff, and the parents let it be known that they do not. And the father was so put out. He at one point he was like not trying to look at them. He kept doing like this. And he was like, I know what I spoke over you when you was born, and that is it. We don't believe in that. That is some witchcraft. And it didn't seem to phase Raya at all. Matter of fact, when we set her in confessional again, she is still holding firm, because she said her psychic is always right. And I'm thinking, is a psychic right, or is it the psychic tells you stuff and then you go about making it happen? That's two different things. And the mom even said in her confessional that she believes in that. She believes in the psychic as much as she believes in God. It was almost like she says, oh, because I can believe in God, I know that there's also this counter power out there. So, yeah, I don't know about all that. But also, I do believe, though, that you can get in your mind that something is going to happen or not going to happen, and you can go about making that happen. So if she is listening to this psychic, and the psychic is saying, you're going to have some chaos, which I don't think you need a psychic to see that, then you're looking for the trouble. You're looking for the chaos. You're looking for the issues. But anyway, that's how it kind of wraps up. That's all. It was an okay episode. Thank you so much if you have stayed to the end. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Take a moment and like the video. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you believe in this psychic? Do you believe that, she's the cause? Anyway, or do you believe more in it's a self-fulfilling prophecy? Or tell me what you think about the episode. But anyway, again, thank you so much for being here. Take care.